Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. You know, there are a slew of new vitamin C serums on the market, and so I thought we would just put our little science goggles on today and do a deep dive into the new vitamin C serums, see if they are formulated correctly to actually work in your skin, and see if we can find some new things that I can recommend to you guys. The ingredient that you want to see on the label when you're buying a vitamin C serum is L-ascorbic acid or ascorbic acid. Those names are both interchangeable. That's the vitamin C that's naturally occurring in our skin. What it does inside your skin is that it donates electrons to neutralize free radicals, and free radicals are destructive molecules that go around damaging our collagen, damaging our elastin, damaging our DNA, and so by donating an electron to them, it neutralizes them and keeps them from damaging our skin. So L-ascorbic acid is notoriously difficult to formulate because it's a very unstable molecule. So when it's exposed to sunlight and air, it will start to oxidize, which means it will start to turn brown. But there was some research done years and years ago that showed that keeping the formula at a pH of between 3 and 3.5 allowed it to remain stable in a water solution in the bottle long enough for you to use it for a little while. And you also add a couple of helper antioxidants like vitamin E and ferulic acid. That helps to stabilize the vitamin C, and it also makes the antioxidants up to 8 times more effective. So the instability is one factor when formulating with ascorbic acid. The other one is getting it to penetrate into your skin. In this chart, it shows that a pH of between 2 and 3.5, you really get maximum absorption. You can see that after 3.5 on this scale, it starts to really taper off and you get much less absorption. They also did experiments on different percentages of ascorbic acid and how well they absorbed into the skin. And looking at this chart, you can see that between 10 and 20% are really the sweet spot. Over 20%, it's really declining back down, so it doesn't give you any advantage to add over 20%. So there are basically two ways to formulate an ascorbic acid vitamin C. One way is to put it in a water-based serum, and the other way is to put it in a non-water-based serum to stabilize it. So probably the non-aqueous solution that you're most familiar with for a vitamin C serum is from The Ordinary. This one's been around for a few years now. This is their vitamin C suspension 23% plus HA spheres 2%. This being waterless keeps the vitamin C from oxidizing at all. There will be zero oxidation in this if there's zero water. So in this formula, the L-ascorbic acid is basically suspended in a base cream. And the thought is that when you rub it on your skin has enough water in it to dissolve the vitamin C crystals that are in there. You can actually kind of feel the crystals when you rub it on. It's a little bit gritty, this guy. And then they're supposed to dissolve with the water in your skin and absorb right in. So a couple of these new formulas that we're going to look at today have no water in them as well. So the things that we're going to be looking for today, if they're in water, we're going to be looking to see what the pH of the formula is. So that's going to let us know if it's stabilized in the bottle and if it will penetrate into your skin. We're going to be looking for the helper antioxidants, vitamin E and ferulic acid. And then we also want to look for the amount of vitamin C in the formula. All right, so I've got 5 new vitamin C products here to show you today. 2 of them are non-aqueous, so they're stable in the bottle, and 3 of them are water-based solutions. So the first one is from Neutrogena. It's their Rapid Tone Repair 20% vitamin C serum capsules. This retails for $35.49 for 30 capsules. The base of this one is silicone, it's dimethicone, then it has ascorbic acid, and this one also does contain vitamin E, but it doesn't contain ferulic acid. So one of the things that we were looking for is the percentage of vitamin C in here, and this one says right in the label that it's 20% vitamin C. So let's tick that box, so that is in the positive column here. And we'll see what happens with the pH. I'm going to go and do all the pH testing separately. We'll go out to my kitchen and do that. For that, I have my handy dandy pH tester. Now, for those of you who want to be able to test your own vitamin C serums, if you go to the store and pick one up and you want to know, like, is it really in the right pH to get into my skin, you can just pick up one of these. I'll put a link to this in the info box below the video. It's so easy to use. You dip it into or drop your serum on there, and then you compare it with the colors on here. It's a nice feeling formula. Let me just show you how these work. You just like give it a twist and that breaks open, and then you can dispense the product out. I'm going to save a little bit in there for doing our pH testing. Now, this being a mainly silicone product, it has a beautiful skin feel, a nice rub-in, but it is mainly silicone. You can definitely feel the silicones in it and feel the silicone on your skin. Now, when I use my vitamin C serum, the one that I use is very watery. It doesn't have any silicone in it, and for me, it just feels like it just absorbs right into my skin, where with this kind of thing, the silicones definitely make it feel like at least the silicones are sitting on the surface of my skin. My question is, how much of that vitamin C is actually absorbing, and what's the pH? Can it absorb at all, or is the vitamin C also just sitting on the surface of my skin? We'll find that out in a couple minutes when we go out and do the pH testing. This is a nice idea for stabilizing the vitamin C, but they don't really need to do the capsules because it's already stabilized, because this is in a waterless base. So instead of doing these capsules, which only gives you 30 uses for $35, they could have easily just taken this serum, filled up a whole 1 ounce bottle with it, charged you 20 bucks, and saved you a lot of money. The second one, which is also a non-water-based solution, so stable in the bottle, is this one from Beauty Stat. They actually have a patent on this. This is called their Universal C Refiner. This retails for $80 for 1 ounce. This contains cyclopentasiloxane, which is silicone is the first ingredient, then L-ascorbic acid, then it also has squalane, petrolatum, and it has green tea. They also included tartaric acid, and that is supposed to be the thing that keeps the pH low enough so that the vitamin C can actually get into your skin. So this one doesn't contain either of the helper antioxidants, ferulic acid or vitamin E. This is another white silicone-based cream. This one rubs in and feels pretty much the same as the Neutrogena, I gotta say. It has a very silicone-forward feel. I'm not a huge fan of using silicones in the first steps of my skincare because silicones can be a little bit occlusive. They can sit on the surface and keep some of your other things from penetrating. And where I put on my vitamin C serum first, because I want it to penetrate the easiest, then I put a couple of things on over it. I don't necessarily want a silicone laying there first that's going to keep like my lactic acid and my CoQ10 and my matrixyl from penetrating into my skin. So I would probably, if I was going to start using one of these silicone-based vitamin C serums, I would probably switch it to later in my routine, and we'll find out how it is pH-wise in a little bit. So then another one was this Pixi Vitamin C Tonic. This retails for $15 for 4.2 ounces, so a really big bottle of this stuff. This contains water, ascorbic acid. It's got a whole mess of citrus extracts, which does not a vitamin C serum make. It's really all about the L-ascorbic acid. This one also contains green tea, ferulic acid, vitamin E, so there's the two antioxidant helpers. It has mint extract, caffeine, hyaluronic acid, a whole mess of other stuff. We don't know how much ascorbic acid is in here. Based on where it sits on this ingredient list, I'm going to say it's definitely below 10%. It's the 6th ingredient in here, which by the time you get down to ingredient 6, you're looking at maybe 5%, hard to say. Probably not enough vitamin C in here to really be a good concentration to do much in your skin, and we will see about the pH on this one. All right, then the next one is one that's been out for a bit, and I did review it and then I retracted my review, so I just wanted to include this one to make sure that everyone knew where I stood on the Cerave Skin Renewing Vitamin C Serum. This retails for between $15 and $20 depending on where you purchase it. This contains 10% pure vitamin C in the form of L-ascorbic acid. This is another water-based serum. This one has a lot of other ingredients in it, glycerin, dimethicone. It has denatured alcohol pretty close up to the top, which I don't love to see. It has ceramides in it, which are awesome, and it has vitamin E. So this guy is much more of like a gel cream, but this one has a nice rub-in and a nice feel. This one doesn't feel as silicone-y once it's rubbed in, but it's gonna really depend on the pH of this one to know if it can actually get into your skin to do what the ascorbic acid needs to do in there. And then the last one I have to show you here today is from LaRoche Posay. This is their 10% pure vitamin C serum. This retails for $39.99 for 1 ounce. This is a water-based solution, so it's got water, ascorbic acid, a bunch of silicones, SD alcohol, vitamin E. It's got fragrance. This is not a formula that I love because of the SD alcohol, the fragrance, and the silicones, but we will take a look at it anyway because people were very curious about this one. Now this one comes in an orange bottle. It's another thing that I always say is orange color or orange glass does not make a good vitamin C serum. Your vitamin C serum actually shouldn't be orange. It should be clear. And this one is a really interesting kind of thick gel-like texture. And when I rub this one in, it feels really watery. It doesn't feel super silicone-y. This one has a very strong fragrance where the other ones really seem to be much more fragrance-free. Gardenia, like a floral scent, but we will stay positive on this one and hope that the pH test will bear out on this guy. The next thing for us to do is go out to the kitchen and do the pH testing on these. All right, can we get a yay for science? So first, just to do a control to show that our test strips work, this is distilled water. Just gonna pop a little bit of that on the end test strip. And you can see if we go to match that up, that is the pH of water, which is above 6, maybe around 7 on the pH scale. All right, next, let's take a little bit of something that we know to be in the right range. This is the Timeless Serum. And we'll just drop a little bit of that on there. And let's match that up. That is looking like somewhere between 2.5 and 3.0. All right, let's go in with this little guy here, which is the LaRoche Posay. That's looking pretty neutral. That is a lovely shade of green, so that is not going to get into your skin and work. Let's try the Cerave next. That one has got a really high pH. I'd say the pH of that is above 6. All right, let's go with the Pixi next. Oh, Pixi. Let's make sure that we have that in there so we can see that. Too neutral. All right, these last two, if we just put them on, I'm sure that they will register as neutral. So let me first go ahead and just put a little bit of this Beauty Stat out on the end. You need water for pH paper to work, so these guys where they don't have any water, they're not going to do anything to the paper. So I'm going to have to mix them up with just a tiny bit of water. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 drop of distilled water. I called Dad the chemist and asked him if it was okay to do this as part of the experiment just to get a little water for it to react with, and he said yes, that would be okay. So let's put that on there. Ooh, check that out. Wow, that is giving us a really low pH. That's looking like about a 1, between 1 and 1.5. Okay, and now let's do The same thing with the Neutrogena on this side of the bowl. Drop of water, drop of the Neutrogena. Just gonna mix those two around a little bit. So that's giving you a low enough pH once you mix it with water. So the 3 in water were all duds, but these two have potential. So then I thought I would just test the ordinary just to see what the pH is on that after mixing with a little water, and that one comes out looking more like the 2.5 and 3.0 that we're looking for these. Isn't science just so much fun, you guys? And it's so informative. It can tell us what products are worth our money to spend, and that will actually give us a result in our skin. So I think what we learned from our little experiment here is that the 3 formulas that have water are not worth our money, and that leaves us with the stabilized silicone bases. Now, I understand that they want to keep the pH super low, but this is almost like too low. There is a point at which it does kind of irritate your skin, and I gotta say, I used this the other day, and I did put on my green tea toner before, and oh my gosh, this gave me such a tingle. A little more than a tingle, it was like a little bit of a sizzle. This is like serious stuff because the pH is so low. Now, if you have super sensitive skin, this is probably going to hurt your skin if you put it on over something that has water in it. If you wait for your skin to dry and put it on, then it's not going to give you that same sizzle, but I'm not sure that it's also that the vitamin C is going to dissolve and get into your skin. So that's kind of the fine line that you walk with these. So this and the Neutrogena, they were both pretty equal as far as how the formula works, what's in it. 80 bucks for this, 35 bucks for this. I think they're both overpriced. I think they're in about the same price range. This one I find disappointing just because they could have taken this exact formula, they could have dispensed with these cute little doohickeys, and they could have just filled you up a whole bottle, a full ounce, and charged you 20 bucks for it, and you would have gotten the same thing, which is a decent vitamin C serum, providing that there is enough water in your skin to dissolve the vitamin C. But I gotta say, after having also run the experiment on the ordinary, I'd say for the $5.80, this is probably the way to go over both of these. You could save yourself a boatload of money. The pH on this isn't so super low that it's going to irritate your skin. I gotta say, for me, I didn't love this just because I could feel the granules in it, and it did feel a little scratchy on me. This one definitely has the least amount of silicones in it, so it doesn't feel quite as silicone-y and quite as slippery as the other two. Why spend the equivalent of 80 bucks for 2 months worth of product when you can spend under $6 for 2 months worth of products that is going to be pretty much the same. You know, I still don't love these though. I feel like the silicone forward feel is just not for me in skincare. It's just too much silicone. It just doesn't make me feel like my other things are penetrating. It makes my other junk slide around. So I think after having done this experiment on these 5 things, I was hoping that one of them would pan out and there would be like a new vitamin C that I can recommend to you. None of them panned out. The only thing that on this actually had the right pH was right here, the good old timeless 20% vitamin C. Of course, the Maylove, the Dr. Brenner's, the SkinCeuticals. I mean, those are all the tried and true, you know, the L-ascorbic acid serums that really have everything in them that you need. They have either 15 or 20% vitamin C in L-ascorbic acid in water at the right pH, and they have the helper ingredients of vitamin E and ferulic acid. So any one of them is going to work for your skin. It's just a matter of which one your skin likes best. I like the Timeless. It's so watery. It's so beautiful. I feel like, you know, what's going on? Dog barking. It's probably the mailman. He's protecting me from the mailman. You know, it's just like such a watery solution, and it just drinks into your skin so quickly and so easily. And you know, where I have like a multi-step skincare routine, I like to know that the other things that I put on after are absorbing in as well. Anyway, long video to say, I'm sticking with the old stuff that I always used. Gosh, I was really hoping that one of these would have been right, but Oh well, what are you going to do? And so that is the end of today's little experimental video. I hope you enjoyed our trip into the science lab. I feel like we should all get some lab coats made up and some safety goggles put on so when we're doing these experiments. But anyway, like I said before, if you want to do your home experiments, pick up a little pH test kit. I'll link this and my favorite vitamin C serum in the links below the video, along with all the other products that I showed you here today. So if you found the video helpful and informative, go ahead and give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.